Tuesday, November 11th. You're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. I'm your host, Jason Cooper, alongside my producer for the next hour and a bit, Jacob Carmenia. Behind the board, things are looking good today. Excited to get into things after what was essentially a horrible, atrocious Monday Night Football that we kind of all want to forget about. Like it didn't happen.
Been pretty bad lately for the
primetime games. Oh yeah, it's karma for the for Bob Iger and the Disney executives for cutting off our friends over in the United States for their YouTube TV package, which I know a lot of people use to watch football, and now they can't use it. So, quick reminder to our friends in the States: if you ever want to find a good streaming site, you can message me on Twitter. I'll send you one. Down with the big corporations. E-Colt saying he loved that game. E-Colt.
That man has a sickness. It doesn't surprise me.
He is sick in the head for liking that. Anyways, we have a great show lineup for you today. Really excited to get into things. Batting leadoff, as he always does on Tuesdays. Drew Dinsick is going to come on, talk some NFL futures, but also talk with him a little bit. We're going to talk some NBA power ratings. Who are moving up, who are moving down after about 12-ish games into the NBA season. And then also I'll get his thoughts on Nico getting fired, which, I mean, Jacob, I'll get your thoughts as well, but I feel like I know where everyone's going to lie on that one. Drunken Goon's going to come on, talk about the World Cup. Got some important matches, especially in Europe. Bunch of groups there. Who's going to make it through? Africa, there's one spot available, 4 teams remaining. Who's going to make it through? Asia as well. A lot of stuff to talk about there. Rob's going to then come on, do our weekly market watch. You guys love it. Kind of go through as many games as we can within our allotted time frame and figure out where the market is going, what's happening, what's been happening since the openers, maybe react to why these moves are happening, if it's the right move, if we think the number could come back or if it's gone. And then finally, we close out the show with Alex Moretto and So Money Sports, Edric Overtime, massive NHL slate tonight. Going to be breaking down the entire board, talking through it, giving our best bets. Hopefully we can win another underdog round robin play. 3 or 4, which is still a winner.
If you round robin.
Well,
which you did say to round robin.
I say every time if we're going to do 4, you might as well round robin. Because, anyways. Okay, quickly, before we get into things, I'm going to ask Drew the same thing when we pull him up here, but your thoughts on the Nico front. Also, your thoughts on the Brian Daboll, like your favorite team, the New York Giants. Head coach gone.
Well, there's just been 3 games where the Giants have had based on whichever probability index you're going to look at, but at least 90%, you could probably argue 3 games with a 95% win probability that they all lose. Like he mismanages games so poorly in those big moments, and even for a team that's tanking at this point, like the Giants, and is focusing on a draft pick, like you need a head coach at a certain point who knows how to get your team over the line and win games, and he hasn't been able to prove that. He makes a lot of cowardly decisions on 4th downs and kicking field goals. So the timing was a bit early, but I mean, after another blown loss, I mean, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. I thought it would happen before the season ended, just maybe not quite here. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. It was rudderless. Is that the right word? Like, no one's steering the ship. Brian Daboll, I think he's a good enough coordinator, good enough coach on offense to like scheme up plays and design plays and sequence plays. But also the second that Russ came in, I knew that game was dead. I think we all had a feeling that game was pretty much over and done with. But it shouldn't feel like that way. Just when your backup comes in, the game you're winning by 10 it was 3 minutes left. You shouldn't feel like you're cooked.
Fair, but also I don't want to defend them, but to be fair to the Giants, they're losing they lost their 3 best weapons.
Yeah, they've been gutted by injuries, but you can't keep putting yourselves in positions to win and losing.
Yeah, fair enough here. All right, before we get into Nico.
Let me talk about Nico. I mean, at the end of the day, you get what you deserve when it comes to Nico Harrison. He absolutely gutted a team that went to the NBA Finals consistently. Like, there hasn't even been many, but just Luka Doncic, that trade alone was grounds for somebody to get fired. Everyone knows that. And then entering this season, even with the unbelievable luck of the first overall pick in a generational class where you're getting a potential generational player in Cooper Flagg, who's one of the most hyped up prospects of the millennium so far. to go into this season with just no point guard depth, like D'Angelo Russell being your best point guard going into the season, that alone is also grounds to get fired. They've had a horrible start to the season. He's mismanaged this very talented roster so poorly. I know Kyrie Irving is injured, but you get what you deserve, and he deserves to get fired.
Yeah, even just like from a top-down management perspective, like how do you even allow this to happen as an organization group where you make such a massive pivotal trade for your organization and then fire a guy less than a year later? Like that just shouldn't even be. That should not be the case.
Yeah,
anyways.
it's a pretty big acknowledgement that like that was a bad trade, I think, by doing that.
Yeah.
But in the moment you hire a guy because you believe in him to make the right decision. So if he believes, and it seemed like there was management backing of trading Luka Doncic. So
if your faith wavers after 6 months, like reassess your faith in someone and maybe hire someone else to do that, because obviously, again, the owner ego we know is big in sports. Anyways, let's bring on Drew to talk about this. Before we do, just want to quickly remind you guys, if you want to fire on Week 11 bets today, 5 p.m. Eastern time, Forward Progress YouTube channel. You're going to check it out with George, Flup, and then also Matt Russell's going to be there. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that was supposed to be a mystery third guest or a surprise.
No, you can.
Okay, all right. Yeah, Matt Russell's going to be there. They're going to all be giving out 3 of their best bets for the week, breaking down every single game on the board today, 5 p.m. Eastern time on the Forward Progress YouTube channel. You're going to want to go check it out. All
Flup was 0-3 last week, so I'm going to need to give you guys some winners today. George was 3-0, pulling all the weight.
All right. All right, let's move on. Let's bring on Drew here right now. He's an NFL, NBA, and tennis handicapper. He's a betting analyst for NBC Sports Bet. He's also the co-host of the Deep Dive podcast. Drew, how's it going, my friend?
It's going great, man. How you doing?
Good. Funnily enough, there's another production company that works out of this building. And I didn't send you the picture, but I was walking by, and I look up. You can see inside their booth. And I'm like, oh, there's Drew on the screen. So back to back.
From this morning?
From this morning. Yeah, I'll send you the picture after the show. It was pretty funny stuff. But, anyways, let's get into things here. Let's talk about the Nico firing. What's your opinion on this? What is there to say?
I mean, one of the more well-earned firings of my lifetime. This was the worst trade in NBA history. Now, at the time, before you kind of even really saw the dust settle and you got kind of, thought through exactly what value they got back for Luka, I kind of understood in the moment if Dallas as just a team was ready to move on from him because he wasn't staying in shape. There was all kinds of, behind the scenes rumors about, just his, how he was his largesse socially as opposed to focus on playing and winning basketball, and that they were concerned about giving him $300 million in the light of that, and so he needed a new relocation and a new renewed focus and purpose, and he got that in LA. And so it's making the trade look even worse in hindsight because Luke is playing at an MVP level, and Anthony Davis is out with the calf injury, as anyone could have predicted through 10 games this season. He's been available for something like 17 of the full 50 games he's been a Maverick. And in general, the Mavericks flopping down the stretch, not making the playoffs last year, and then kind of following it up with this year's performance was enough to warrant a change. I think I heard a little bit of your guys' preamble kind of conversation about it, and if you're the owner and you're contemplating moving on from Doncic, and you're like, but you hire a GM for a reason, and that's that. Presumably, that person has sort of the wherewithal and the intelligence and the insight and the understanding of the NBA to execute that move and get back fair value. And if it's ultimately going to be a franchise dooming move that will poison your fan base, then you expect your general manager to stand up and say something about it. And instead, Nico executed the trade with carelessness and got back a putrid return for what was, a top 5 player in the NBA by anyone's measure. In under, what was he? Is he even 25 yet? Doncic has so many more years left of elite play. It's he's 26. So yeah, I mean, it was an inexcusable trade, and people in Dallas are rightfully upset, and there needed to be blood. And the fact that it came early just kind of puts us out of its misery now is fine by me. The Mavericks, I guess maybe my commentary on this is I listen to a lot of NBA content just to kind of ground truth my own numbers for heading into the season. And the biggest mismatch for me with, and just what I was hearing and people's expectations and the market in general was Mavericks. I'm like putting the pieces together. And I'm like, you're expecting Cooper Flag in his rookie season to be a primary ball handler, which he wasn't even in college. Like, this is going to go very sideways. He's going to have to face the best perimeter defender on every team and generate offense for this group of kind of mismatched bigs. Like, this is not going to work at all. And I don't know why. And no one else really saw or thought through that or said anything. Like, there was all this pearl clutching and oh, I don't know, the Rockets, they don't have a point guard now that Fred VanVleet's hurt. Like, they're not going to be able to run offense. And they're a well-coached team that Ime Udoka is literally just like, no, Amen Thompson can run our offense, and we're just going to have a first cut offense that just gets a shot up, and then we'll offensive rebound it, and away we go. It felt like none of that was kind of embraced by the Mavericks in terms of how they wanted to build offense this year, and it's been an absolute disaster going to this point of the season. I have them as the 30th best offense in the NBA. They are a worse offense than the Washington Wizards right now. And I mean, until they get a healthy Kyrie Irving back, there's no way that this changes. And I think the misery will continue. So yeah, at least they get a fresh start without Nico mucking things up.
Yeah. Again, gross malpractice on all levels. It's like, yeah, I don't know what I don't even know how to like compare. There's no means to contextualize. All I can think about is like, imagine dating a vegetarian, then right before you're about to get married or you're breaking up with her because she doesn't eat meat. It's like, what do we do? Like, figure it out. Anyways, let's talk about some power ratings here. You just mentioned how low you are on the Mavericks, how low you were coming into the season on them. So I just want to talk about some teams that you're moving up, some teams that you're moving down, and some teams that you were like took a stand on. I'm going to let you kind of not pass post. That's the wrong word, but like, just, you took a stand early on the season. Like, what are you victory lapping right now, 12 games in?
Still a long way to go.
I know.
So very cautious victory lapping of anything right now. But I guess the big, my horses, and I can't remember if we talked about this 2 weeks ago when we were doing NBA or if this is just other stuff I've said. But my two horses in the East, I am riding the Milwaukee Bucks to do some damage in the Central. And in the West, I am riding the Los Angeles Lakers to do some damage in the Pacific. I got both at pretty nice plus money prices to win their divisions, respectively. And I think there's definitely scope for the Bucks to win the East, although you are banking on Doc Rivers in a playoff setting. So, gird your loins. The best player in the Eastern Conference is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Surprise. I don't know if you didn't already know that now, it's not even close. And I think in general, the gap between a playoff Giannis and a playoff Donovan Mitchell is pretty significant. So happy to have some Bucks in pocket, and kind of glad that they are getting away with some ugly wins early in the season as they are quote unquote figuring things out. Lakers, similarly, like, people are way lagging on how good Austin Reeves is as a second banana with Luka on the court. That is, a 1-2 punch that is really, really tough to match across all of the rest of the NBA. Like, if those two guys are on at the same time in a playoff series, like that is a handful for even the Thunder to deal with, because they are both such elite offensive players. And if they either make a move and bring in, that doesn't the Lakers, to me, don't feel like a complete team. It's a little bit of a work in progress in terms of how that roster will look come playoff time. And if they can get a couple of, maybe like they've already revived DeAndre Ayton more than I thought they were going to be able to in a very short amount of time. And if they can add some depth and shooting around that core, that's going to be a really nasty outcome playoff time. So still a long way to go before they're in the conversation with either even the Nuggets, let alone the Thunder. But really high on the Lakers right now relative to market. Market is still rating them as like kind of like a +1-ish type of team, and I'm very clearly like, no, this is like a +5, and they should be kind of right there in at the tail end of that second tier after Denver and Houston. In like the fourth, they're like fourth, fifth best team in the West by my numbers.
Yeah, no, we did talk about this 2 weeks ago. You're right. You came on, you talked about Lakers to win the Pacific Division. You also talked about Bucks to win the Central. Lakers were behind the Golden State Warriors at that time. Right now, they're vaulted ahead. They're plus 105 to win the division there. So, yeah, you did come on. Good memory there. And talked about it a little bit. All right. Who have you been not aggressively, but again, only 12 games into the season. But who's a team like you've moved up the most, and who's the team that you kind of moved down the most? Is it the Mavericks?
Biggest upgrade is Bucks for me.
Yeah.
And it's mostly just kind of just based on the quality you're getting at Giannis, and actually I kind of think that they have scope to go up even more once they kind of figure out how to get Miles Turner more complimentary role next to Giannis. The biggest downgrade isn't even close, and it's the Clippers. This team is very, very clearly going to miss the playoffs, in my opinion. I think the big bet that they made to bring in Bradley Beal to be sort of the answer, or like ostensibly it was pitched as an upgrade at shooting guard over Norm Powell, and it is very, very obviously not an upgrade. His specific kind of weakness on defense now is sort of it's like the clear weak spot of the defense, and it's a weak link system. So it's all of a sudden teams know where to attack that starting unit when they're all on the floor and they're healthy. And then on the flip side, his offensive contributions have been nil. A lot of what was super interesting and special and fun about the Clippers last year with the breakout of Zubac has been completely muted and in the background this year so far. It's like they've completely gone away from that style of play for reasons that remain complete mystery to me. And all of a sudden they have this entire cast of characters who are well past their prime. So people are still going bottom up, coming up with a fair rating for this Clippers team, acting like they are going to be equal to the sum of the parts, and they are not even close to the sum of the parts. Even public systems like EPM right now have the Clippers as a plus 1.7. I think they're more like a -3, and I don't think that there's really much that's going to come and save these guys unless Kyrie Irving steps out of whatever anti-aging chamber Matthew Stafford took before this season.
All right. Chat's asking a little bit about the Clippers under regular season win total. Right now it's at 43.5, minus 114 towards the under. Is that like about where you'd see it at, or do you think there's still room to go down a little bit here and you like the under?
I have the Clippers winning 32.5 games this year.
Okay, so there we go.
So under.
All right.
Honestly, there's scope for this to just completely blow up. The Clippers don't have any really future assets at all. They're kind of in the same position that the Suns were last year. And if you kind of remember how the Suns did some pretty aggressive tanking / moving off of key pieces while they still had perceived value. At some point, they're going to put, we're going to put keep our assets off the floor so that they don't depreciate anymore. And at that point, they go down the drain.
All right, makes perfect sense there. Is there a team that you have circled that you like really enjoy watching, or you want to you're most excited about, other than the ones we've already talked about? You can't talk about the Bucks anymore. You're blocked.
I mean, overall, the quality of the product so far this season has been awesome. The biggest revelation is obviously the Spurs. The Spurs have leapt into like true blue contender status. The big paradigm about the NBA heading into the season, and as you maybe remember, or maybe we talked about it, was like the big imbalance in conferences between the West and the East, where you have all of these amazing teams in the West and all of the East is like kind of weak and kind of lousy. Well, the East is actually kind of young and fun, and the West is like kind of full of guys who look like they're over the hill all of a sudden. And so there's a little bit of a shift there in terms of perception for me, at least. I think there's actually really like you could have made a case there was 10, 12 good teams in the West before the season started. Actually, there's like 6, and one of them is the Spurs. So it's even more of a surprise, I think, than people realized in terms of stratification in the Western Conference. And then the East, like Miami, awesome, fun team to watch. Chicago, awesome, young, fun team to watch. Detroit, taking a step forward and getting some huge contributions from players I didn't expect to be role players. Toronto is fun to watch, surprisingly. Literally everybody in the East except for the Pacers, the Nets, and the Wizards, I think, have a realistic chance to get into the play-in, if not the playoffs. And I think I didn't even mention Philly. Oh my God, what a breath of fresh air! All the minutes without Embiid on the floor, they are such a fun team to take on. And I think overall, any kind of pearl clutching or concern trolling about how the quality of the Eastern Conference should be muted, because they're pretty decent.
All right, awesome stuff there. I love that little breakdown. VJ Edgecombe for the
man,
it looks great. It looks fun. Like from the limited basketball knowledge that I have, I know that guy's good. I know that guy.
He can play.
Yeah.
How did Nico Harrison miss on VJ Edgecombe?
We can't talk about that. Come on, poor guy. He's already dead. He's already 6 feet under. All right. Let's talk about. Let's flip over and talk some awards talk quickly because I wanted to touch on this quickly with you in terms of the NFL. Unless you want to talk, and honestly, we can go off the cuff here. Do you want anything you like in the NBA, or would you rather flip over to an NFL?
I'm curious your take on a couple of these NFL awards. I think that there are two that are just still completely wide open. Obviously, MVP is the fun one, but MVP and DPOY I think are very, very wide open.
Yeah. So how would you attack the DPOY market? Because I don't really understand. Like I've never understood the voters, so it's like always hard for me to like kind of conceptualize how they're going to vote on things. Feels like no one's running away with it. Myles Garrett's the current favorite right now, but I don't think like the Browns just aren't good enough to justify him winning the award. He's plus 145 right now. Parsons plus 350, Hutchinson plus 550, Benito plus 750. Then we have Anderson 10-1, Verse 20-1. A couple guys further down the board: Daniil Hunter, Brian Burns, Rashawn Gary 20-1 to like 60-1. How are you like looking at it and attacking it?
Yeah, I think anyone who's just using counting stats as their North Star in this market is going to get in trouble, going to get offsides a bit. Look no further than last year where Trey Hendrickson, races out to your sack leader. And, this was a consolation second place after, getting beat by Patrick Surtain, who did not have counting stats, but was just sort of the representative totem for the best defense in the NFL. And so I think the paradigm has shifted a little bit. 4 or 5 years ago, there was a very, very small pool of candidates who could ultimately win because this just went to whoever was perceived as the best defender on the best defense, right? And there was only 4 or 5 guys that really were ever in consideration for that. And now it's a much bigger pool. Now it does feel like that people will look at the advanced stats. They will look at EPA per play allowed by defenses, DVOA for defenses, and if there is one true standout unit like the Broncos were last year, then they'll find a reason to award a guy on that unit who they think is kind of the key to the strength. And right now that would still be the Broncos, and it would be Nick Benito. I think plus 750 for him is a pretty big number considering his. He entered the conversation last year, and his counting stats are right in line with a lot of these elite guys at the top here. I do think that the Detroit Lions are ultimately going to win out in the North. So Parsons as your second choice, I feel like is a very strong bet against at plus 350 right now. Completely agree with you on Garrett. Hutchinson is live. Will Anderson is live because the Texans could ultimately be that best unit, and he would be the guy that carries the flag for them. So this thing is wide open in some order. Hutchinson, Benito, and Will Anderson, I think should be your 3 candidates that are going to get shorter between now and the end of the season. And just because Will Anderson's 10-1, he would be my bet.
Are you worried at all about Daniil Hunter? If you look at Will Anderson, him getting more of the credit or being like the totem of the defense, like you mentioned before, or is that not?
I think the fact that Will Anderson was such a high draft choice and then won defensive rookie of the year kind of warrants because there's and maybe you already know this, or if you disagree, say so. But I feel like a lot of the awards voting, sometimes people will err on the side of, I think this guy will get into the Hall of Fame someday. Right? Like, I don't want to give some guy a defensive player of the year if I don't think he's like ultimately going to be a Hall of Fame player. And I think that is going to hurt Daniil and it's going to help Will.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's a great point there. So basically it looks like you kind of want to fade the top of the board here in Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons is what you're saying. So appreciate it. Maybe we'll talk about MVP next week. We missed the
top of the board there too.
Pardon? Fade the top. Yeah, we missed you missed the boat on Sam Darnold. I've been trying to tell you guys all year, talking to the chat here. But Drew, appreciate your insights. Always love talking ball with you. We'll chat soon. Have a good one.
All right, best luck, guys.
Awesome stuff there from Drew. Love it. One's in the chat for Drew. Always a great time talking through things with him. All right. Let's see what we got on next. Oh, we got Drunken Goon coming on next. Before we do, though, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Over at FanDuel, hockey's back, and FanDuel is giving you a shot at boosted winnings when you make a bet on all the action on the rink. Because right now, all customers have a chance to score big with a 50% profit boost. Just make your pick, apply the boost, and if it hits, you get extra winnings at no extra cost. And with FanDuel, you can bet on goal scores, assists, points, saves, and so much more. Plus, you'll get paid your winnings instantly. Ready to play your game? Just visit FanDuel.com/forward progress to get in on the action. That's FanDuel.com/ forward progress to claim your 50% profit boost token. You can score big on your next hockey bet with FanDuel, an official partner of the NHL. Please play responsibly. See 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas affiliates with Kansas Star Casino. 19 plus and present and physically located in Ontario. 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Bonus issue as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration, max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rghelp.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call Connex Ontario 1-866-531-2600 or visit connexontario.ca. All right. Let's bring him up next here. He's a soccer bettor. You know him from the Discord. You've seen him in our watch-alongs. You've seen him around here. On the show, let's get into some World Cup qualifying action. Adrian, how's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. How are you?
Good, good. Let's start with the which region should we start here? Let's start with the African region. We have 4 teams going head-to-head, or do you want to start somewhere else?
First things first, the Remembrance Day. Thanks to all the veterans out there for their service. Much appreciated.
Appreciate you giving that shout-out. Let's dive right into things.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
Crazy game on Sunday. Atletico Ottawa, snowball game.
Yes. I
shout
saw
out
that,
to
the
them for
bicycle
winning
kick.
the CPL.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. You watch the CPL?
Not so much, but I did watch the final, so that was entertaining.
Right.
I was planning on going, but it was a little too much snow for me.
Yeah, fair enough. It was crazy. For those who didn't see, it was like, I think there was at one point one of the goalies was like shoveling the field because there was just too much snow going on. It was crazy.
Trying to stay warm.
Yeah, crazy stuff. All right, let's flip over. Let's talk about. Let's dive right into things. Let's start with the African. There's 4 teams remaining. 1 spot available between the 4 teams. Nigeria versus Gabon, and then Cameroon versus the Congo. This Nigeria game you wanted to talk about a little bit because there's been like some issues with the hotel that's going on Twitter. And you want to get into that sort of stuff. So let's talk us through these 4 matches these 2 matches, and if you have anything for us here.
Sure. Yeah, it's been crazy. Nigeria has 3 guys from Fulham on the team, so that's a good thing for them for chemistry wise. But one of them, Alex Awobi, posted a short video on his social media about the situation just outside his hotel in Morocco, and that kind of took off. It wasn't the best view of the local economy, let's say. Mm-hmm. And that kind of blew up. So he had to put out another video to say, no, the facilities are great and we're ready to play. But that seems to be an issue with Nigeria every time they play. It's a show before the game that makes a lot of waves, and sometimes it takes away the focus from the game. They've come a long way just to be here. Halfway through qualification, it looked like they weren't going to have a shot, but things kind of fell their way, and now here they are. They're one of the best teams in Africa, and they have the quality. But it's always a question of, are they ready to play? I think they're ready. They take on a team, Gabon, that has some talent. Mario Lemina from Galata and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from Marseille, and as well as Dennis Bouanga, the top scorer in MLS. But the Nigerian talent is off the charts, and it just reads like a who's who list. I'm not going to go through all of it, but just to mention that Victor Osimhen from Galatasaray is the hottest striker in Europe right now, and with everything that they can put out there, they should be able to get through this if they can keep the distractions to a minimum. I think Nigeria is a good play on neutral ground, -0.5, -115. It's good to -125 for me.
All right, -0.5, -115. Good to -125. Let's flip over. Any interest in the Cameroon and Congo game here?
Yeah, I have a play on that one as well. These playoff games tend to be, if somebody gets a goal, it really opens up. Teams start chasing the game, and the total is 175. It's price typical for African Cup of Nations or games of that dimension. The difference being here that it's played in Morocco on an impeccable pitch, brand new stadium. Both teams have some offense on hand, and you have with Onana and net for Cameroon, there's always a chance of a mistake and a goal happening. So 175 seems a little low. I had that priced to -120. So over 175 -108 is a play as well.
All right, over 175 -108. Let's flip over and talk. You want to talk the Asia qualifiers? Iraq and UAE trying to play for that last spot there. Anything you like in that game?
I don't have a play on that one, but it's an
Talk us
interesting
through it.
situation. Both teams kind of finished just outside the automatic spots, and now they have to go through qualifying. They have to play each other. The winner also has to play 2 more games to make it to the World Cup. UAE has invested heavily in Brazilian players. They basically handed out passports, and half their rosters as Brazilian players. They have a Romanian coach that has been coaching in the Middle East for a long time. He's very experienced, and he has kind of got them on the right track in late qualifying. They play the first game at home, and they need to get a result to have a chance going to Basra for the return leg. So it's borderline for me, but -0.5 plus 110 is close. If you can get plus 120, I would play it on UAE in the first game. The other option is to maybe look at qualifying. They're -115 to qualify. Same thing, or borderline, but I prefer UAE to qualify.
All right, UAE to qualify. How do you feel about them just kind of like handing out passports to Brazilians? I know it's like, I guess they can kind of do whatever they want, but it's like that's part of the rules. But like, does that like change anything for you?
I'm old school. It kind of breaks the spirit of the game, but it's the new reality, and a lot of countries are doing it. So more power to them if they can attract that talent and get them where they want to be. Both teams have been in the World Cup once before, but that was in the 90s. So one of them might have a shot to kind of put themselves on the map.
Yeah,
at least the late stages of qualifying.
Could be interesting. Could cause some waves there. Let's flip over and talk through Europe. We have 12 group winners that'll make it. Then the runners up of those other groups. There'll be 4 spots remaining. Only one team has already secured their spot. England has secured their spot. Which group do you want to start with to talk through here?
We can go through all 12 just really quick.
Okay, yeah. Let's start with let's start with Group A. Germany at the top. Seems Germany and Slovakia fighting for the top, I guess. Northern Ireland, Luxembourg. Seems like those 2 teams drew dead. Do you think Germany will be able to push through here, or can Slovakia kind of cause an upset and advance through this group?
Yeah, it's been an interesting group. Germany was expected to steal through it, but they lost in Slovakia 2-0 back in September, October, and that kind of put a dent into their campaign. They were slow, they were methodical, and they just couldn't deal with the pressure that the Slovaks put on, and they didn't really put too much pressure on the hosts in that game. The German coach is looking to kind of change that the mode of attack and speed things up in the return leg, which is Tuesday. But before then, they have a game against Luxembourg. They win that one, and then all they need is a draw in the final game. I have a play on Slovakia against Northern Ireland on Thursday. They are a team that plays really well at home. They did lose in Northern Ireland, but I think they have the better quality. They have really strong defense, and Northern Ireland kind of has to win this to have a shot at second place. So if they do open up, they have some holes in their lineup, two midfielders missing and a defender. So I think Slovakia can take advantage and win that game and take it to the end to the final game in Germany for first place. Maybe shoot their shot.
Yeah, it could be sweet there for Slovakia if they could bump off Germany there and finish first in the group. Let's flip over to Group B. Switzerland.
Yeah, so just wanted to see the price. Slovakia is -0.5, plus 105. It's good to -110 for me.
-0.5 plus 105. Group B, Switzerland at the very top. Kosovo, Slovenia, Sweden. Anything you got in this group?
No bets for me, but this is an interesting scenario here. Sweden's last place, but they only have 1 point for 4 games, but they can still finish second if things go their way. They have to win their last 2 games and get some help. But Switzerland's in a good spot. They just need to keep things going. Battle for second spot. I think Kosovo has the edge there, but it's close. So one of those teams is going to go through. The other, Sweden has a guaranteed playoff spot as well for Nations League. So we haven't seen the last of them. They might still make it to the World Cup for the playoffs.
All right, they could still squeak through here. And then let's flip over to Group C: Denmark, Scotland, Greece, and Belarus. Denmark still has to play Belarus, and Scotland, if they win both, they secure their way through. Anything you like here for this upcoming set of matches on the 15th?
So Denmark's in a good spot. That it's basically they're through as far as I'm concerned. Scotland needs to get a result in Greece to make that last game meaningful. And I do have a play on them plus a quarter. Greece is a young team that didn't really perform in this qualifying campaign, and they're still dangerous. But I think Scotland, with the more motivation and the prospect of having a chance to win the group at home in the last game, they can squeak out a result in Greece, and plus a quarter. What did I have that at? Plus 108 in Greece is worth a small bet.
Plus a quarter, plus 108. Group D, France, Ukraine, Iceland, Azerbaijan.
Not much to say here. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
France needs a draw basically against Ukraine at home, and they're through. Ukraine probably going to get the second spot and go to the playoffs. And it's interesting. France called up midfielder N'Golo Kante for the first time in a year. He hasn't played for them. He's playing in Saudi League, so I didn't expect him to see the French national team again. But he's a really good player in midfield, and it's nice to see him back in the fold.
Yeah, it's good to see him back. Let's flip over to Group E: Spain, Turkey, Georgia, and Bulgaria. Same kind of scenario here, where Spain, I think, can get another win and just basically secure their spot here. Anything you have in Group E?
No, Spain wins the group and Turkey goes to the playoffs.
All right, makes perfect sense here. Group F: Portugal, Hungary, Ireland, Armenia. It seems like the same thing again. We're here with Portugal, 3 wins. You got the same thing here, or is
this one's interesting because there's a lot of moving parts. Portugal won 1-0 at home to Ireland, and now they're -1.5 favorites on the road. I'm surprised that if I didn't schedule these 2 games at the same time. Hungary goes to the Far East, and they need a win there. They play first, so they're -1. Sorry, let's get my bearings here. -1 and plus 102 in Armenia, and I have a play on that. They basically have their full team. Armenia has nothing to play for. Hungary hasn't been to the World Cup since '86, and this is their moment to at least get to the playoffs. I think they win and win convincingly. If they don't, then it would be interesting to look at Ireland plus 1.5 at home to Portugal. At that point, Portugal would be through as the group winners, and Ireland would still have a shot at getting second. If Hungary wins, then they need to get results against Portugal. So it's a situational thing where you can maybe play Ireland if Hungary doesn't win, but I think they win going away, and then that would make the Portugal-Ireland game meaningless.
All right, let's flip over to talk Group G here. Netherlands, Poland, Finland, Lithuania, and Malta. Netherlands and Poland fighting for that top spot here. Finland's in the mix too. Lithuania and Malta dead to rights here.
Finland is basically mathematically still in it, but technically out. Holland basically wins the group, or at least has a chance to win the group in the last game with a draw. But I think they go to Poland and win. Price, nothing to talk about, -3/4 there. So I would pass, but I expect Holland to lock things down, and then Poland would eventually get second in the last game.
All right, Group H here: Austria, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Romania, Cyprus, and San Marino.
I got personal interest in that one.
All right.
A couple of weeks ago, it looked sorted out, but then Romania scored in the 90th minute to beat Austria, and that put them back in kind of controlling their own destiny for second spot. They already have a spot in the playoffs through the Nations League, but if they win in Bosnia, then they get a better draw in that, so they will be going for that, and there's not a lot of pressure on them. Bosnia has a shot at winning the group if they win their last 2 games, and Austria is basically in control if they win their next game and then tie Bosnia at home. So that Bosnia-Romania game is going to be interesting. I don't have a bet on it, but it's going to be fireworks. Maybe look at the cards and things of that nature.
Over. All right. Group I, the group that kind of me, Jacob, and Rob in the back have kind of been waiting for: Norway, Italy, Israel, Estonia, Moldova. Is there
Italy's cooked, man?
Can Italy not make their way through? What's
Italy's
going on
cooked.
here?
Not quite cooked. If they could actually win the group if they beat Norway 7-0 or more. But
Italy not conceding to Norway for 90 minutes.
Norway,
Have fun.
Yeah.
No, that's basically Norway's to lock down in midweek and then go celebrate in Italy at the end.
All right.
And then playoffs in Italy, they don't usually go hand in hand, so they'll have to focus and be ready for that.
All right, I know all of Woodbridge just fell to their knees right now in hearing that. Group J, Belgium, North Macedonia, Wales, Kazakhstan, Liechtenstein. Oh, that's probably butchered.
Geography lessons.
Liechtenstein? Yeah, I mean,
close enough.
Close enough. Belgium Belgium, North Macedonia is creeping up here. Walk us through this one here.
Belgium's got an extra game, so
okay.
they should be fine.
I got that, yeah.
And then the battle for second is going to be Wales and North Macedonia, which will be decided in their head-to-head matchup in midweek. Early next week.
All right, last two groups here. Group K, we already talked about England that qualified. Battle for the second spot here. Albania, Serbia seem to be in contention. Latvia, Andorra both seem to be out.
Yeah, so Albania needs to win away in Andorra to kind of keep Serbia at bay. They both play England, Serbia, and Albania in the last two games, so England's going to be the referee in that battle. I have a play on Albania, -1.5, -117 over Andorra. I know England only beat them 1-0 in Andorra, but Albania should be motivated, and they have the quality to cover the spread there.
All right, shout out Nate Dute in Albania, #NateDu. Group L, Croatia, Czechia, Faroe Islands, Montenegro, Gibraltar. Who do you got winning this one? I know Croatia has a game in hand here.
Don't care. Haven't looked at that one at all.
Okay, all right. That wraps it up. Goon, appreciate you. You gave out a bunch of stuff here. Let me know if I missed anything. But Nigeria -0.5, -115. Cameroon versus the Congo over. Would you have the over?
175 -108.
1.75 -108. UAE -115 to qualify. Slovakia -0.5 +1 -0.5 +105. Scotland +0.25 +108. Hungary -1 +102. Albania -1.5 -117 there. All right. Good stuff here. Good. Appreciate it. Awesome stuff.
It's been some. I've been over for the last couple of weeks, so
it's all good. It happens. Let's bounce back here. Goon, appreciate you joining the show. We'll chat soon.
Have a good one.
All right. Awesome stuff there. Sad to hear Italy is cooked. Italy needs.
Well, they're cooked for automatic qualification, but like they have the playoff route, which is up to chance essentially with
who they get,
who you draw. Yeah.
Which historically hasn't been good.
Well, they've had good draws, but have lost the games.
Okay.
Or an okay draw, and then a very winnable one, which they lost to North Macedonia. But they still would have had to beat Portugal anyway at that point. So.
Still over 60% to win the World Cup. So.
All right, there we go. I have faith. All right.
Hopefully.
Who do we got up next? We got Rob coming on here, join the show. Before we do that, I just want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at BetStamp with the NFL and basketball in full swing. Best way to take advantage of those super liquid prop markets is by using a pro screen. Now's the best time to lock in BetStamp Pro. Pro is built for high-level bettors who need to spot and scale up edges fast between NFL Sundays, college football Saturdays, and daily NBA action. Prop markets are more liquid. Prices are sharper than ever, so the window to exploit individual numbers is right now. You can't do that without a hyper-efficient, reliable, true line that shows you the real market price in seconds across 150-plus outs, helping you find and hit scalable edges. Don't wait. The opportunity to capitalize on the prop market is right now. Visit betstamp.com/hammer or scan the QR code to apply for a demo. Spots are limited during the season. Hit that QR or hit the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen. All right, up next. He's the CEO of the Hammer Betting Network. And he's going to talk us through some NFL markets today. Rob, how's it going?
It's going okay. My wife is starting to put up Christmas decorations today, so I've been a little bit in orbit for the last couple hours, going through the basement, bringing boxes. So actually very happy to see you for the first time in a long time, Jason. This is a reprieve from the last couple hours for me.
I am your escape, and I've noticed that since you've taken out the winter stuff, unlike Jeff, the winter stuff hasn't fucked with the focus on your camera, which it seems to have affected Jeff's, which still don't understand that, but.
Yeah, I don't store winter boxes anywhere near my camera. I don't know what's going on in Jeff Feinberg's household, where just taking out the Christmas decorations is affecting his camera quality. But we're gonna have to investigate that a little bit further because it doesn't make a lot of sense.
All right, I'll talk to Jeff about that. Maybe he needs some help. Maybe it's a cry for help and asking for some IT help from me. But I won't be much help for him. All right, anyways, let's get into things. We have a gross Thursday night football game between the Jets and the Patriots. We've seen a lot of money come in on the under with, last week, two touchdowns were scored off special teams for the Jets. They just can't move the football at all. Don't know how they're going to do it against a New England team that really succeeds against the run and the Jets can't pass the ball. So under money coming in. Total right now is coming in around 43, 42 and a half-ish. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, so pretty significant move towards the under. I mean, this opened above 44 being a key number when it comes to totals. And I think you nailed it, Jay. Like, it's really not injuries. I mean, the weather doesn't look great, but probably not a huge impact on totals. This just comes down to the fact that the New York Jets don't have a passing offense right now. I mean, you look at the game against Cleveland, they averaged 3.6 yards per play. They had a 26% success rate on offense, which, I mean, they've had way too many of these games this year where they can't move the ball through the air. So naturally, whenever one team, struggles to move the ball through the air, you tend to see under money come into the market. So not really a surprise there. And to your point, like, you look at the way you want to beat New England. New England's kind of like a pass funnel defense. You want to be able to throw on them. They've defended the run pretty well so far this season. So not a surprise there. Ugly game, like you mentioned, but now we've moved through 44. That's a pretty significant early week move.
Yeah. Do you think that's going to come down at all as the week goes on? Because I just or do you think we'll see some money come in on this New York Jets team total under? Because I just don't see how they score like in this game. I know that sounds crazy, but like, what else do they have to even move the ball downfield to get first downs here? I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think there's potentially though kind of like score effects in this game where you could get New England up by a lot. I mean, you look at the point spread; it's 11.5, and that leads to, in some cases, teams playing a little bit softer on defense, playing a little bit more coverage, giving stuff up underneath. So I think there's an avenue for the Jets to move it if this isn't in like a neutral game state type of situation. But I don't know where this will go from here. I kind of just think it'll settle in and around here. What I like to do every now and then is look at where the sharp books are priced. And one of them is an offshore sharp book is just like a standalone at 43.5. That leads me to believe that I don't think we're going to go too much lower on this game.
All right. It seems to have found its level at this point in the week. Up next, we have the 9:30 game. It's the Madrid game in the Santiago Bernabeu. I know a little bit about soccer. Dolphins playing the Commanders here. Dolphins, I mean, 3-point favorites against the Commanders, which just feels like a crazy thing to say, even though they don't have Jaden Daniels here. We're seeing it kind of ride between a 3 and a 2.5 in market. What's the reaction of this move? Am I missing some like defensive injuries for the Commanders? Is the market just coming up on the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah, I think a combo of both. Now, first and foremost, I'm impressed by your soccer knowledge because I watched the last segment and you didn't even realize like Liechtenstein was a country, I think, even though they've been playing in European qualifiers for many years. Patting yourself on the back for the soccer knowledge of knowing where Real Madrid plays. I mean, I'd say pump the brakes a little bit on that one after the last segment, but a little soccer knowledge is better than none, Jay. A little better than none.
I was going to say Barcelona plays there. Thank God I didn't say that. But anyways, keep going.
This game in particular. Okay, so Miami beats Buffalo last week. They get upgraded in market regardless. Washington gets downgraded from getting smoked by Detroit. But they lose Trey Amos in their secondary. Second-round pick for them has been pretty solid. They lost Marshawn Lattimore the week before. They are just now a pretty depleted core on defensive line, secondary. You look at wide receiver. Terry McLaurin was 3 times DNP last week. Luke McCaffrey, Noah Brown are on IR. It's just a real challenge nowadays to back Washington. Dan Quinn's taking over the defense this week. I don't know that's going to matter. I mean, you got to have players at some point. I mean, and they just don't. So not surprising, I would say. Now, listen, is there going to be resistance at 3? That's the main question in this game. Is someone going to come back in on Washington? 3 on a neutral with Miami? I think somebody might have some interest in the Commanders here, especially since they drew money last week against the Lions, but it's not going to be me.
Yeah, no, I think I'm in agreement with you there. Just the number 3, that is just very shocking when I see the Dolphins, but to give them credit, they have looked at the past couple of weeks. And again, like you mentioned, this Commanders team is just trending in the wrong direction here in terms of just health. Let's flip over and talk some 1 o'clock games, the main slate here. Bucks and Bills. Totals at 48.5 now, has come down from like 50.5-ish. And then the Bengals and the Steelers, which is in in Pittsburgh here has come down again, opened up around that 50 range, come down 1 or 2 points at 48.5. Both potentially weather-related games where we're going to have to wait and see on things, but market wants to get an early jump on those games with these relatively high totals here. Talk us through both these drops. What's the weather looking like? What's ChatGPT saying?
Yeah, it's not looking good from a wind perspective for either of these games. I mean, when we're looking at Sunday in Buffalo, in Pittsburgh, these could be the worst wind games of the year that we've seen so far. Looking at 30 miles an hour upwards now in both of these games. Now, that could change. You don't know. We're still pretty far out here on Tuesday, and obviously weather patterns change quite a bit. But whenever you see these types of games in the early going, I mean, the market's the market. Like somebody's gonna bet them out on the hopes that the weather patterns continue. It's not really a handicap of how these teams are on the field, because I think some people might look at Buffalo, Tampa Bay, and they might think, well, maybe there's offense in that game. Same with Pittsburgh, Cincy. Cincy's not typically a team you'd want to bet to the under, especially since Flacco's come over. But conditions right now look like some serious wind. In the case of Buffalo, possibly some rain there as well, some heavy rain. So monitor that one going forwards. And if you are someone who's puzzled by what's happening with the totals in this game, just understand that it is purely weather related. Yeah,
it makes perfect sense there. And it's funny because I look on Twitter a couple of weeks ago, people are freaking out because you look on prediction markets and some people are betting on the weather, and football bettors have been doing that for years. So, keep an eye on that for weather report for sure for both Buffalo and Pittsburgh there. Let's talk about one of the lowest totals I think I've seen almost all season that has nothing to do with weather, and just two downright bad teams. Texans taking on the Titans here. Market seems to disagree with the opener of that lower total. Bet up to around 39.5 right now. Opened up at, I see 37, 38-ish. Is this Davis Mills love? Is this CJ Stroud might come back and play? Is this what's going on here? Is it Cam Ward fourth quarter heroics? What's going on with this total?
So this was an early week service play release by a respected group, and I got to tell you, I'm not a huge fan of this one in the early going. And listen, the NFL market is competitive, and if you think that like this number is going to go up and you got to beat other people to it, then by all means you play your numbers and you go for it. I want to start with, I don't think CJ Stroud is like a lock to be back this week. In fact, I mean, I was watching video of on YouTube of someone who does like a Houston, injury report breakdown like every single week. I'm pretty pessimistic about Stroud even playing this week. Like, I think he's less than 50%. So that's one starting point where I would have some caution with this total. The second is the state of the Titans defense before the bye week, right? Jeffrey Simmons had a hamstring injury. He's the key guy to watch, but if he returns, like, they at least have a great player on the defensive line. Arden Key could be back. Xavier Woods could be back. So to me, there's just a lot of moving parts in this game where I wouldn't necessarily have been rushing to bet an over, but it did come from a respected group that will move the market when they do bet overs or anything early on in the week. And we sit here now, I could potentially see myself coming back the other way on this game, depending on the Stroud news and the state of the Titans defense.
Just out of curiosity here, we've seen some Titans money come in late at post, but with this almost being like potentially an in-between number, and I know it's kind of crazy to say, but CJ Stroud hasn't had a great year. I'm curious how much people value the difference between Davis Mills and CJ Stroud. Obviously, there's a difference there. How much it is, I don't really know. Do you think we could see actually some early money on the Titans here in anticipation of CJ Stroud not playing because this is an in-between number?
I don't know how much an in-between number it is. Okay. Like, I know that's being said a lot, but when you look at the way that these teams have been priced over the course of the year, let's throw out the first 4 weeks of the season, because at that point we didn't know that Tennessee was this bad. But when we're looking from like week 5, week 6 onwards, when Stroud was in there, and we look at what the market prices would have been in those games, let's say week 6, Houston minus 7.9, week 7, Houston minus 7, week 8, Houston minus 7.4. It was last week, like, I don't really know what's going to happen in particular with this game. I don't like either of these teams. But yeah, I know it's being talked about like it's this big in-between number. I think it's not. I mean, you have Tennessee with a bye week. That's a little bit of a boost in market, potentially some upside to the offense off of bye week, which historically we've seen mid-season bye weeks like this, especially like week 9, week 10, so on and so forth, tend to see an offensive upgrade for those teams that come off of those. So I don't know. This is a challenging game. I was just surprised that anything happened early on in the week with this one.
Yeah, no. Listen, I don't disagree with that. That it's not an in-between number. CJ Stroud obviously hasn't looked good this year whatsoever. So very interesting here. Let's flip on and move to the Bears taking on the Vikings. 2 sophomore quarterbacks. One playing better than the other. I'll let you decide who you think is better than the other. Market seems to be saying that Minnesota has the better quarterback or just the better team overall. Vikings have taken a little bit of money here, moving from 2.5 into like a 3 area, and then over money as well. Talk us through this one.
Yeah, so I think just a lot of this is to do with the market. First of all, another service play release on the Vikings in this game, which brought it up. I think a lot of this is to do with the Bears potentially being a fraud and being viewed as a fraud. I mean, 6-3 team with a -8 point differential so far this year. And, you look at a lot of their games, you scratch your head, how do they pull out the win? I think that there's definitely some appetite to fade them. Whereas Minnesota's result last week against Baltimore, I don't want to say, like, misleading is probably not the right word, but they probably played better than the final score indicated in that particular game against the Ravens. And the Ravens are a pretty good football team right now. So not surprised to see that Minnesota money. There was the Jonathan Greenard stuff this week as well. He left week 10 with a shoulder injury. It was really hard to understand what Kevin O'Connell was saying last week in regards to Greenard. Like, yesterday he spoke. He said, like, the MRI is good, but depending on how you interpreted what he said, we still have no idea whether he's going to play this week or not. So that's one to keep an eye on. Personally, I did play some over. We talked about this on the Sunday reset. I just don't believe in the Bears defense whatsoever. I think they're a very, very weak unit. Defensive line, many injuries. TJ Edwards missing in the linebacking core was a big one for them last week. And obviously the cornerback group is struggling right now with Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson on IR. So completely agree with the over move on Minnesota. Yeah, I probably would have wanted Minnesota later in the week. I just, early on here with the Greenard situation, nothing on my end.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like you mentioned with that Bears defense, TA had a tweet he put out earlier today just talking about how the Bears ranked number 1 in EPA generated from turnovers on defense. We saw something similar to the Jacksonville Jaguars earlier this season, and even though they still got kind of that special teams and defensive luck, they've just come crashing down. Their defense has, at least. Of course, their offense been destroyed by injuries. But yeah, we've seen them come crashing down in recent weeks after a hot defensive start there. So maybe that's in for the Chicago Bears defense. Let's flip over and talk Chargers at Jacksonville. Chargers love coming in, even though there's no Joel Alt, even though they don't have their offensive line seems to be decimated. Chargers love is coming in. Seems like the market doesn't like the Jaguars too much here. Do you feel like the market's right here and kind of fading the Jaguars and leaning towards the Chargers?
I think so. And like, this is the least surprising, I think, early move of the entire week, because the Chargers look pretty good on Sunday Night Football against the Steelers. And I think a lot of people would think that the Steelers are better than the Jags right now. So, yes, there's a lot of injuries on the Chargers side of things. Justin Herbert's an elite quarterback. If he's not in tier 1, he's definitely tier 2. And, he can overcome a lot of that. On the Jags side, like, they're just as beat up as the Chargers are. I mean, Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr., Brenton Strange, they lost early in the year. Their backup tight end, Hunter Long. Their left guard, Ezra Cleveland. On the back end, Travis Hunter as well. Eric Murray, Jordan Lewis. So, like, this is a pretty depleted Jags team that just blew a game against the Texans. It's not really a surprise to see the market oppose Jacksonville again here, especially when you consider all the game day money that came in against them last week as well.
Yeah, kind of it's funny. I was watching the Jacksonville game with a friend, and we were talking about that when they went for 2, ended up missing it. He's like, why would they do that? I'm like, honestly, it's probably not going to matter. This is like levels of New England, Atlanta, Super Bowl of a comeback for Houston to pull off, and lo and behold, it happens, and we're just sitting there stunned. Anyways, let's flip over to. And I'm gonna quickly flag plant here the battle for the MVP race. That's what I'm gonna call this. Seattle at Los Angeles. Seahawks taking on the Rams. Sam Darnold and Matthew Stafford fighting for the MVP. Don't worry about Drake May. It's all right. They'll beat him out. Seems like the market likes the Rams in this game. Rams are coming in and around a 3. There's still a 2.5 juice towards the Rams available at FanDuel. Do you agree with this move on the Rams? Like the Seahawks, both these teams have been like very, very good this year, I think.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit surprised. Just a little bit surprised. There's no real injury information to work off here. You know, the biggest one that we'd be monitoring for this game would be Devontae Adams for the Rams, right? He had an oblique injury right at the end of last week's game. And immediately after the game, McVay says, you know, he could have returned to the game. If it was a close game, we could have brought him back in. But if you go back and watch it, like he's wincing in pain. We know historically in sports, oblique injuries are not good. They tend to last for a while. Baker Mayfield has one right now, and he hasn't had a rushing attempt in many weeks. So that to me is the biggest piece of injury information to monitor, which is why I was surprised the Rams took early money. With that said, Los Angeles has had like a ton of support in market for a while now. You look at last week's game against the 49ers, right? They opened -3.5. They closed at 6 in that game. So definitely maybe somebody just kind of front running it and being like, listen, the Rams are going to get money later on in the week regardless. I got to play them now. I don't know. To me, this is just, I don't have an opinion on this game. I think it's two very good football teams. I thought somewhere between 2.5 and 3 is kind of like the right price, with the Rams just being slightly better on a neutral. And I'm kind of surprised that they took money this early.
Yeah, it should be interesting to watch. Small little thing. The Rams play like 13 personnel like 40% of the time, which is like such a weird thing for the Rams to do. Curious how McDonald schemes up and defends that, because they've been getting a ton of advantages out of that in terms of matchups there for the Rams. 2 more teams to go through. I'm going to keep you on here, make the Edgeworth guys wait a little bit. Browns and Ravens. Browns seem to be getting a little bit of love here in market, which is like a little bit shocking to me. And then also some money coming in on the under. Talk us through this one.
Yeah, I'm actually not really that surprised. I think the Ravens last week, even though they end up winning and covering for like a lot of the sharp bettors who ended up betting them, I don't know that they necessarily looked as great as we thought they would in the process. Lamar still looks a little bit beat up offensively as well, and like less willing to use his legs than in years past. And that could potentially affect them, especially against this defense going forwards. We saw Lamar struggle in the past against this Browns defense as well. So listen, again, not a game where I would have been immediately, I got to bet this number, I got to bet these prices, but someone's taken a stance that I guess the Baltimore offense will probably underperform in this game when you're seeing the Browns and under money. So no strong opinion here necessarily, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily shocking either.
Yeah, Browns in that plus 8.5 range here. Always have played well within their division. Excuse me. Finally, last game on the board we have to talk about here is it's Detroit taking on Philadelphia after like a putrid Monday Night Football game, which we all had to endure together, but we did it together, and I'm happy we made it through the other side. Okay. Philadelphia right now 2.5 point favorites at home. Totals at 47. Why is Philly getting a little bit more love from? I think did it open at 1.5? It was open at 1.5. What's going on here? What from that game did people pull away and say, hey, let's give Philly some more love here?
I would say definitely a very, very interesting reopen here, because prior to last night's game, the line was Eagles -1.5, total of 49. So the total's reopened at 47, 2 points lower, and it's on a key number. And yes, obviously a very, very low scoring game, and the Eagles offense didn't look great, but that's a pretty big adjustment off of one particular game, especially going up against a Lions offense next week. I wouldn't be surprised if the weather holds in this game to potentially see some over money. In terms of Eagles being adjusted up, listen, they win the game at Lambeau. I mean, they basically went off as favorites at some sharp books as well. So it's not like, we necessarily should be surprised there. Interesting adjustment. I think there's going to be some interest for the Lions later on in this week. Maybe not from me. I've kind of have the Lions lower than market, but I do think that Detroit might get some money in this one.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you there. Yeah, should be interesting to see. Should be interesting to see how Dan Campbell calls plays this week. Lot to look at. Rob, appreciate you joining the show. Anything you got you want to mention here, or that's it?
No, I see that they're still doing the fire alarm.
Yeah, you can hear that
in the building.
Okay,
yeah, it's very faint. Hopefully it happens over Moretto's picks, honestly, when he comes on the next segment. If we so money, I don't want it to happen to him. He's a good guy. We want to hear what he has to say. But when Moretto's given picks, if that fire alarm, if we could get like a 10, 15-minute test, something like that, at least 15-second test, that would be okay.
That would be perfect. Yeah. Also, they're doing
By the way, how long do you got to test these fire alarms for?
They said
What's
a
going
week,
on?
which is crazy, but these guys seem to take a really long lunch break because I noticed that they don't. It stops right when the show starts, and then at like 12:40ish, 12:50ish is when it starts back up again. So, yeah, it might be a little bit painful for Edric over time, but hopefully the chat and the audience can bear with us because there's really nothing we can do. When I asked about it, they're like, yeah, they're going to be doing it for the next week. I was like, well, a week? Are you guys crazy? Like, I didn't say that, but I just said a week. And
you hit the fire alarm 3 times.
Yeah,
we
like,
know
what
it works.
else is there
it's time
testing?
to move
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
What do you we don't got to test this the entire week.
they looked at me like I had 6 eyes. I was like, all right. Well,
also,
anyways.
listen, I'll deal with property management, but maybe let's send out an email to
let us know.
the tenants and be like, hey, we're doing fire alarm testing this week, like our old building.
You know, maybe I'll deal with property management. I'll deal with property management.
Well, I know why you would want to. That lady, when you walk in the front door there, is she's a very good-looking woman.
Very nice person. Very
nice person, too. Good heart.
Yes. Good heart. All right. Anyways, speaking of good heart, we got 2 guys one guy with great heart. And then we have Alex coming on. Up next, Rob, appreciate you joining the show, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Later, guys.
Enjoy the Christmas decorations. Should be a lot of fun there. Minus 200. Rob's not helping at all with the Christmas decorations. What do we take there?
I mean, I know his wife, and she loves to decorate, so I think he'll just stand back and let her have it.
All right, sounds good. So the minus 200 cashes. Then we'll do like a little parlay of Rob not helping with the Christmas gifts or Christmas decorations minus 200 parlayed with Alex not showing up this Thursday for the watch along minus 1,000. I feel like those are probably some good little.
Sorry, Moretto for the watch along?
Yeah, for Moretto for the.
There's no fucking way he's going.
All right, good to.
This guy had a furnace issue in his house, which is a good excuse to get out of your house, and still didn't come.
I think I'm on board with you there. It's just gonna be me and George again. I'm not gonna complain. I like hanging out with George. Miss Alex, but it is what it is. Anyways, let's bring up here Edric Overtime. You guys know what to do. It's that time of the day. Put your fist up in chat. Let us know if you're an edger in the chat. Let's bring him up here, Mr. So Many Sports, Mr. Alex Moretto. Got 9 games today. You guys ready to get into things?
I was ready about 10 minutes ago when the segment should have started, but yeah, sure.
You know what? Rob brings in good numbers. People are interested in the NFL stuff. I made the executive decision to go a little bit longer. That's what the Tuesdays are for. I thought we're okay with going longer. I thought that was the whole point.
Yeah. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Okay. All right. All good. You can give me a hard time. Actually, no, you can't. So many can give me a hard time. You can't. I'll take it from so many, but not you. Anyways, let's get into things here. Where should we start? Let's start with my Toronto Maple Leafs, who absolutely suck, and will probably miss the playoffs here. Thank God I'm holding a ticket for that. Leafs at Bruins. So money. We'll start with you here. Totals at 6.5. Juice towards the under minus 24. Boston Bruins. Underdogs at home, plus 114. Ears are perking up a bit. Don't forget about our underdog money line parlay that we're going to have to piece together towards the end of the show. Do you like anything here, So Money? Uh-oh. So Money's muted. Uh-oh. Not again. Alex, I'll let you lead and while So Money figures it out.
All right, I'll lead for this one. I don't have anything in this game. I did bet the under when these two teams played on Saturday. It was probably the last Leafs under I'll bet for a long time. And it was a terrible bet. It lost and it deserved to lose. This Leafs team is a mess defensively. They're not getting bailed out by Stolars like they were last year. I think Stolars there's some concerns there as well. Boston is a team I want to fade though too. These are honestly 2 teams I don't want to bet right now. I want to bet against and just so happen to be playing each other. Instinctually, I kind of like the over. I think we can probably see goals again, but I'm not betting it at this price, so nothing for me here.
Yeah, tough one for this Leafs team. Really missing the services of Chris Tanev. So money, do we get it sorted out? Am I gonna have to filibuster a little bit longer for you, or you're still?
No.
Welcome to Edgework. We can talk it through on the show. Maybe check if the right microphone input is plugged in. Maybe check if you're muted on your end. Personally, I think the Boston Bruins should be an ad for this. There he is. I hear him.
Am I good?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. All right.
Better than ever.
All right, so Mike, talk us through this Leafs Boston Bruins game.
What is a start of a show without me having issues? Yeah, I played the under. Agree with Alex's comments that the team is a mess. They are a mess defensively. I agree with Stolars. I agree with all of that. And I think long term, they're not going to be a team that is going to be an under team, because and I don't see any long term improvement for the way that they play hockey and the way that they play defense specifically. But for the short term, I do think that both of these teams they do want to make a point to play stronger defensive hockey. And Berube called out the team about how poorly they play defensively. They're not into it, and I think in the short term you might see kind of a bounce on that, right? So like you might see them like it might be a lower event hockey game tonight. So I did bet the under there with the expectation that even with a short term bump on defensive numbers um, based on putting more of an emphasis on it, long term it's not something that I'll be getting behind. But tonight at a 6.5, I did play the under there, and I like it up to -120.
All right, up to -120 is good to go. Quickly off the cuff, no first coach fired markets, but I really think Craig Berube should be up there. And I know that might sound a little crazy to some people, but I just don't think this team is as talented as it once was before. And I think it made sense when you brought him in when this team was a little bit more talented. But now that the talent is gone, Berube is not the right fit as a head coach for this guy. I just think they're one of the worst coach teams, honestly, in the NHL.
Yeah, and just to comment on that, I think that's a good look too, because guys like that, we've seen that with Tortorella, we've seen that with other guys. They have a short shelf life when things start going bad, right? They're really good front running coaches. They can get the most out of talent on the roster, but when you have kids or when you have teams that are not playing up to potential, or you have a depleted roster, it's in those situations where these guys start running out of gas.
Yeah, maybe I would just have like a little bit of least bias towards that, but yeah, I'm looking around for first coach fired because I like the Craig Berube for that one. Next, let's talk about the Capitals and the Hurricanes here. Hurricanes big favorites at home, -162 against the Caps. Totals at 6.5 at FanDuel. Under is -134. A couple sixes across the market here. So, Money, we'll start with you because your microphone's working now. What do you like in this game?
Nothing. I got nothing here. Carolina should be where they are. I slight lean to the over, but it's nothing that I'll be getting involved in. And I've got a lot of other things, and like this one didn't make the cut.
All right, Alex, you can agree here. Is this one also a nothing for you, or are you looking to get in on this game?
No, I thought Washington would get faded a little bit, or more Carolina would get bet and we get a bigger number on Washington. But that didn't seem to be the case. It's kind of stuck around to where it's open. It's trickled a couple cents towards the Caps, if anything. I was maybe looking to bet Washington if they got to like a 150-ish range. I think I'm a little higher on this Caps team than the market is. They're still playing really well. Even like without Dubois, the issues they've had, they obviously missed Jerome for a few games. Like their numbers have just not dropped off at all. I mean, enough's been said at this point, but like Carberry is just doing such a good job with this team. But yeah, we didn't get the prices we wanted. It is what it is. Just to touch on the Berube stuff, I don't think he's getting fired. Like he's definitely not a good coach. He's basically a guy who's only as good as his assistants. Like he's going to try and motivate you, and the assistants are going to have to be the ones who are running things because he doesn't have much of a clue when it comes to X's and O's. It's very simple, and he kind of neuters his teams a little bit. But I don't see how after the season they had last year, there's the crutch of losing Marner, and then there's like the whole like how many coaches are we going to give this core? I would be stunned if he got it. It would have to get really, really bad for him to get fired. And at that point, I think there's probably not even a point for in them to do it. Just like regroup and figure it out next season.
10 years, 3 coaches is really not that much, considering the first kind of coach was only there for like first 2 years. I mean, I don't think it's that crazy, but I think you might be right here. It would be a big. I think if they were to be on track to miss the playoffs and like eliminated or very close to being eliminated, I think there's grounds there. But again,
yeah, I guess if they fired him, it would be their fourth coach. That's why
fair.
I guess that's what I was going to. Yeah,
Fair.
but yeah, I know what you're saying. It's not a ton, but like because Keep was there for a while, but like I mean, it's at one point or another you have to look at this team and be like, these guys need to figure it out.
Yeah. All right, let's move on here. Let's talk Stars and Senators. Senators favorites at home here, -122. Total is around 5.5, 6 ish. Alex, we'll start with you on this one. Anything you like here?
I'm excited for this one because I can say for certain that we probably are aligned on one play, and I think we might have a head-to-head on another play. So, yeah, there we go. I got the thumbs up from So Money in the background. So I bet the under here. Like the under. Obviously, that should come as no surprise. There's still a bunch of -120s, -115s available at 6. I think that is good. I don't need to touch too much on that. I've talked more than enough about that. Dallas is starting to figure things out defensively as well. I know that Kraken and Preds games are not exactly like great barometers for defensive success. Everyone has defensive success against those teams, but they showed a lot, and Ottawa's not exactly a team that's going to overwhelm you offensively either. So I think still a good matchup for them. And now that Ottawa has taken all the money in the world, I am going to hop in and fade it, and I'm going to bet the Stars right now. There's plus money scattered across the board, as high as +109 I'm seeing. I don't see it with this Ottawa team like some others do, and I'm very excited for So Money to lay out the case and tell me why. I can't say I've probably fared all that well in head-to-heads against So Money over the last year or so. So we'll see how this goes. But I don't love this Sens team too much. I don't think they have enough. I think they're a pretty well coached group. I think they're a good defensive team. I don't think they have enough talent offensively. I think that's why they sometimes seem to struggle a little bit in these steps up in class. I don't think they're able to always kind of match the level of these good teams. And I think Dallas is starting to figure it out. And I just think this is too disrespectful of a number. I wouldn't have been looking to bet Dallas at open at all. That wasn't even really on my radar, but this has flown so much to the point where now I am getting in.
All right. It's funny because the second we got to this game, I instantly wrote down Dallas +102 because I had a feeling, Alex, you would be on it. I didn't think that So Money would be on the other side. So Money, talk us through this one.
Yeah, so I think Alex nailed it. So we're completely aligned on the under. Agree with everything that he said. Even his thoughts on Ottawa. I agree with his thoughts on Ottawa. I'm not as high on them as I was last year. But I am still higher on them this year, obviously, than Alex is. I did bet Ottawa early. I mean, obviously, you have to look at the current prices, right? So I liked Ottawa up to -120, right? Yeah. So at this number here, it's a little bit tough, but up to -120, I like Ottawa. What I see here, so this is mostly a bet against Dallas still. They're still not showing me enough, right? They have their wins the last 2 games against Nashville and Seattle, right? And they played okay against Nashville. So this is still not a team in my eyes that has gotten it going. Their win before we were on that Anaheim game that they lost. Their win before that was an Edmonton team that, I mean, we can safely say right now they are in shambles, right? So you don't get. Sorry. Can I just interrupt here? Can we go ahead and bet the Anaheim Colorado over here?
Yeah, go for it.
I did bet it earlier. It's just taking off now. So by the time we get to that game, I don't want to. I don't want us to miss that number.
All right,
we need a breaking news ticker to come across the screen here.
Yeah. So I played that over. I think it's a really good look. I do like it up to -125, which is pretty high for me to go on like a 6.5. So I do come in very high on this one, and it's just taking off right now. So we can come back to that game, but I just want to make sure that we get that bet in.
No, you talked us through the Ottawa game, which is what I wanted to. Let's just explain why you like the over in that game so much. We'll throw to you first.
Oh yeah. I think that we've talked about it a bit in terms of the way that Anaheim plays. I'm starting to fall in love with this team. I think that just the back and forth hockey. And like, if you know that you're not going to be close to winning the Stanley Cup, you need to develop your young players, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're just letting the kids go. That's exactly the way you should be playing right now when you have a bunch of kids who are trying to figure it out. And the only team right now in the NHL, and this is shocking to say, that the only team that I wouldn't bet Anaheim against is Colorado. And I think it's going to be and Colorado's going to be fine playing that game too, right? So Colorado's close to winning the Stanley Cup. If they get into a run and gun game with Anaheim here on a Tuesday night in November, they're not going to have any issues with that. So I think that this game does have a good potential to turn into a track meet here.
All right, could be a track meet like we saw a couple days ago between Avs and one-way track meet between the Avs and the Oilers. Alex, any thoughts on this game? Echo the same sentiment. Like we're going to be seeing, there's already 7s in markets on this game, which feels really high. But like you said, 2 teams that can score at will. You like the over as well on this one?
So I think this is going to be our second head-to-head.
Whoa.
I'm guessing probably our only other head-to-head today, but I'm not dying to bet an under in this game. I don't love that. Obviously I know what Anaheim has been doing and what they can do. And obviously Colorado, if they want to, can score 9, clearly, like they did the other night against Edmonton. I don't think Colorado wants to play that game though. And I think they're going to be able to. They're defensively so good. And I think on home ice here, they'll be able to really just limit Anaheim and not turn this into a track meet. Obviously, there is some serious potential for this to go south in terms of betting it under here. But like the numbers we're getting to at this point, I don't see how I stay off of it. It's just like seeing 7s, even minus 135 on a 7. Such a big number, and like with how good Colorado is defensively, with how I think there's going to be shooting regression for Anaheim, because yes, they are opening things up, but they're shooting the lights out right now. I don't think that's sustainable. I like Dostal a ton. I expect to see him in net here. Betting a 7 with him in net is a little scary. So it's not necessarily a bet against at 6.5 minus 125 or so money bet it up to. I'm not betting, an under 6.5 plus 105 or plus, whatever it would be at that point. But like 7s, I mean, with Dostal and, some shooting regression coming for Anaheim, what is a very good Avs defense, like I'm in. So two very different bets, I'll say here. But I'm going to fade it a little bit. Hopefully, I'll take a 4-3 and, so many wins, and I'll push at least. I'll take that.
All right. Equitable.
I'm such a good guy.
I like that. That's very kind and sweet of you, Alex. Let's flip over and talk. We're going to get you to lead this one, Alex. Go back to the 7:00 slate. Kings at Canadians. Habs around plus 100 at home. Slight dogs here. About a coin flip at some other places, but you can get a plus 100 over at FanDuel. Totals at 5.5, minus 122 towards the over. Do you like the Habs here in our underdog parlay, which seems like we won't have many teams for?
So I do. I have 2 bets here. I didn't actually bet the Habs yet. I'm just waiting right now. I don't think there's a need to rush. There hasn't been a big appetite to bet the Habs from the market yet. I think the market's a little slow to catch up to this team. They still don't fully buy in. Obviously, what the Habs did last year was impressive, but the underlying metrics last year were not good. They very much overachieved. This year, the underlying metrics are good. And, the shooting percentage is going to come down, but they're still playing really good hockey. And I think that what they're doing right now is very sustainable. The Kings are obviously figuring it out a little bit, but they're still not playing very good hockey. So for some reason, the market keeps wanting to bet LA, whether it's priors or what. LA still is getting a ton of respect from the market, and they're getting bet every single night. I faded that a few times. I'm going to fade it again here. Haven't done it yet. I think that these plus money prices on the Habs are not going away anytime soon. I'm sure they'll probably be there closer to puck drop as well. So I don't think you need to rush this one. I did bet an under as well, though, and I do think that one is one I'd get in sooner, because I don't imagine that's going to stick around forever. Kings unders, I like quite a bit. Habs unders I like as well. Montebo's really starting to figure it out. You saw in 2 starts ago, he had a really rough first period, and then second and third he bounced back really nicely against the Devils against the Flyers. Sorry, to keep them in that game. A game they probably did not deserve to even get to overtime. And then his last start, he was really good again. He's definitely starting to figure out his game. He's starting here. Kemper's been really good. The Habs defensively continue to be good. They're overachieving offensively versus what they're creating. So I do expect the goals to come down. So I really like this under look quite a bit. Habs unders keep getting bet near post as well. So we're getting a lot of great CLV on all these unders, and they're just not getting home. But they're going to start getting home eventually, and I think it starts tonight.
All right. Looking towards the Kings under. So, Manu, are you in agreement here? Do you like the Habs? Are you waiting on them, or are you going to attack now? Do you also like the under here at around 6 minus 110 ish, 5.5 plus 100 ish?
Yeah. So I was prepared to come on and be like, I don't have anything in this game, even though I hate the Kings, but we're going to end up leaving with 2 bets.
Okay.
So firstly, while we've been on air, LA has taken more money, and it's gotten to a point where I will be betting the Habs. Kings. Look, my thoughts on the Kings, I've been very transparent on. I think I think this team stinks. Even their game against the Penguins, they won 3-2. I thought they looked very bad in that game. I thought that Kemper bailed them out quite a bit in that game, and that wasn't a game where they should have won, but they got the result. So that shows me that the actual play has not gotten better to a point that would warrant the kind of money that they're still taking in the market. And for the Habs, we'll get them plus money now. So I will be betting the Habs. I should have been on this under earlier, but with Alex's thoughts, and I just missed it. I missed it earlier myself. So I'll tail Alex on this under, and so we'll lock in the under for sure right now for me, and then I will also be betting. I'll also be joining Alex later on betting the Habs at the plus money that we'll get later. So yeah, these 2 games we're going to be aligned on. I will be betting Montreal, and I am betting the Habs. And I am betting the under right now.
All right. Seems to be.
For what it's worth, sorry, Jason, but on the under, I didn't. It hasn't really moved. Like I got minus 115. It's minus 116 sitting there. There's a minus 115 sitting there. Like it hasn't really moved at all today, either direction.
Okay. All right. Hasn't moved at all in either direction. Let's move on to where do we have here? Oh, sorry. Sharks at Wild minus 210 here. At home favorites. 6.5 point total, minus 110 to both sides. So, Money, I'll let you start with this. Who do you like here?
Yeah, it's a tough one. You look at the number on the Wild here. I mean, I'm still lower on the Wild, so I will end up passing here. I would like the Sharks at a better number. If I can get the Sharks in the plus 190 range, I will bet them. This Sharks team, it's no secret. I started watching them a couple of years ago, like just with the new iteration of the team here. But yeah, I like the Sharks team, but in this game, I'm going to pass for now, unless if I get a plus 190 at some point.
All right, passing for now, looking for that plus 190, which we are kind of close to. Maybe we'll get it. Plus 185 is best price in market there. Maybe we're close. Alex, you in agreement with this? Anything you like here? Do you want to add the Sharks to the Wild to the underdog parlay? Sorry.
Rob got his wish with the fire alarm
Nice.
as I'm about to talk. Too bad I don't have a bet in this game for him. No, I don't agree necessarily on the Sharks. I'm just very neutral, I guess. I think I'm high. Well, I know based on prices and stuff, I guess that I'm higher on the Wild than the market is a little bit. But not by much because the market hasn't fully soured on this Wild team either. I just think they're really a different team with Zuccarello in the lineup. And he's been back for 2 games. He's one of the more underrated players in this league. He's so good, and his chemistry with Kaprizov is like off the charts. You see those two guys just like, it's almost like they've been playing together since they were tykes. He's been back for 2 games and he's got a 62% expected goal share 5-on-5, which is not surprising because he is a really good hockey player. So I think the Wild are, now that they have him back in the fold, it makes a big difference to this group up front. They were struggling at 5-on-5. I think this is going to help them quite a bit. And I think we're going to see them go on a little bit of a run here. But at this price and, in this spot, I'm not looking to back them.
All right. Staying off a lot of stuff here. We gave out a couple bets. Staying off some others.
We got like 7 bets today.
Yeah, all right. To be fair, you guys are going Oppo on 2 of them, so it's like
that's fair.
I mean,
That's fair. That's fair.
3 more games to go here. Do us a favor though before we get into those. Just do us a favor, smash that like button. Haven't asked the entire show. I'm going to ask right now. Goes a long way for us here on the channel. Which game are we getting into next? It's going to be the Flames taking on the Blues. Is Jordan Kyrou going to be a surprise healthy scratch today? Who knows? Blues minus 150. Favorites at home here. Totals at 5.5. Juice towards the over minus 122. Alex, I'll let you lead with this one.
So I do have a smaller bet on the Flames here. Not one that I think is a big edge or that I love, but I do like the Flames plus 130s that are around there. I do want to, FanDuel plus 125. I'd be a little bit more hesitant to play that. There's, I think, more than enough 130s that's a fair number for people to go out and get right now. They're playing a lot better than their record suggests. They're playing good hockey, not even just like better than a 300 win percentage team. They're actually playing like pretty good hockey, especially at 5-on-5. They just can't finish right now. And I think there's going to be some real positive regression. A lot of their best forwards are shooting like just some terrible numbers right now. Those are going to come up. It's like I talked about yesterday in the newsletter with the Rangers, how those shooting percentages were bound to come up. Started last night. I think it's going to start soon for Calgary. And what better spot than against, the team that's had the worst goaltending in the NHL this season. Binnington just has not been able to figure it out. I'm sure he will eventually, but might take some time here. And Hofer hasn't been good either. So I think in addition to that too, Blues just not necessarily playing that well. They're just kind of they are what they are at this point. They're just like a very mediocre hockey team. And I think this is too big of a number for them to be laying against a Flames team that's still been really competitive, which is ironic to say considering they have the worst record in the league. But like numbers-wise, metrics-wise, they've been very, very competitive. And I think that some wins are going to start to come here. So plus 130s, I think too big of a number. And God help us all.
Looking to come back a little bit on the Flames here. Future Hab, Nazem Kadri, hopefully leading the way for you. Let's flip over some money. You in agreement to this at all, or any thoughts?
Yeah, these are a couple of teams that I've obviously had a tough time getting a handle on this season. I would have liked the under 6, but as Alex mentioned, it's tough getting on there as well, considering the kind of goaltending that the Blues are getting lately. So I will pass on this game. I'm kind of glad I missed the under 6. It's not something that I would have wanted to bet necessarily, but probably would have been forced to bet. So I will sit this one out as well.
All right, we're sitting this one out. Alex, did you give me like a weird look when I said future Hab there, Nazem Kadri?
No, I don't know if I love the contract, the term. The term is a little bit tough to stomach, but I really love I love Naz as a player, and I think having him this year and next year would be great. It's just after that, it's like I don't know.
The cap's not real when it goes up like 10, 20, 30 million dollars. So, all right, let's breeze through these last 2 games here. Columbus Blue Jackets taking on the Kraken. Kraken minus 120 favorites at home, 6.5 totals. Here, minus 122 towards the under on the total goals. So, Money, I'll let you start with this one. Who you got?
I did bet Columbus here. I like Columbus plus money. I like the way that the team has played. I know that there's some illness going around in that locker room, and it was against the Oilers the other night. We'll see Merzlikins in net, which is obviously a downgrade from Jed Greaves, but we'll also get Grubauer on the other side, I believe. So I think that's so even with Merzlikins, there's still a goaltending edge to the Blue Jackets there. Seattle's a team that it's not that I have a problem with the way that they've been playing. I think they've been playing okay and they've been playing to what they are. It's just that I think Columbus. It's going to be a step up in class here for Seattle playing against the Columbus team that I think has been playing well, just haven't been getting the results consistently. So and at plus money here, I think that all of that has been factored into the line. So that means that if I'm right on Columbus, then there's value taking the plus money here. So I did bet Columbus. You can still get plus money right now, and that's where we are.
All right, yeah, you can get plus 103s, plus 105s, plus 100s, plus money pretty widely available there. Alex, you in agreement here? You like Columbus?
Yeah, not only is this not a head-to-head, it is a double best bet on Columbus. So, yeah, I really like that. I really like the Blue Jackets tonight. Maybe one of my favorite plays on the board. I don't know what the argument is for betting the Kraken in general without Decord. I think there seemed to be a little market confusion regarding who's going to be in net tonight because there hasn't been like an official team announcement about Decord being on IR, but like if you go look, like he's on IR, which means he's out for a minimum of 7 days. Like he cannot play tonight. So he is out. It feels like the market hasn't fully grasped that. It's just talking to people this morning. So I don't know if maybe there's an element of that is why we're getting this number, but yeah, I think this is a hashtag wrong team favored situation here. Columbus has been really good. I really like this team. Honestly, they're a really competitive team. Like they can play against anyone. They got a lot of offense. They got some good defense. They got good goaltending. Kraken are they're pretty ugly. They're last in the NHL in expected goal share at 5-on-5, and by like 2 percentage points too. They're just not creating anything whatsoever. And that's when you don't have Decord at the back end and you can't necessarily rely on just like low event games and hope that you can win them 2-1 or 3-2 with a couple of bounces. You actually have to score some goals. I don't see how this team wins many games. So they're a team I really want to fade with Decord out, and we're getting a really nice spot, I think, to do that tonight because of the back-to-back for Columbus.
All right, good spot here for the Blue Jackets. Double best bet, now minus 102 over at FanDuel. So somebody out there is watching and likes that, clicked it. Hashtag wrong team favorite. Last game on the board, Winnipeg Jets taking on your Vancouver Canucks. I'll let you lead with this one. Canucks are dogs in this game, plus 104 at FanDuel. Totals at 5.5. Juice towards the over. Anything you like in this game?
I do. So we talked about the Jets. Alex and I share the same thoughts on the Jets that we were expecting this team to kind of start playing down to who they actually are, and they have been for the most part. They've just been going through they've just been in a lull lately. The Canucks, on the other hand, I am starting to, famous last words, I'm starting to like the way that they've been playing. Not always getting the results, but that Colorado game showed me a lot on that back-to-back running into the Colorado team. The Saturday night game against Columbus showed me a lot because, as we mentioned, that Columbus is not an easy out, right? So that could have been a disastrous back-to-back weekend there. But they did well. They held their own. We're gonna get Demko back in net tonight. So whatever has been ailing him, or if it's just rest, week and a half maintenance, whatever it is, we know we're not gonna get the answer from the team. So at this point, we just gotta go with it. We're gonna get Demko back in net, which is a positive. And at the plus money that we're getting on Vancouver, I don't think that the way that they've been playing recently is being accounted for in that line. So at the plus money, with the way that the Jets are playing, I do like the Canucks here, and I will be betting them very imminently.
All right, plus 104 available at FanDuel. Alex, you in agreement with this one? You like Money's Canucks, or are you going to fade him and take the Jets?
Yeah, I wanted to bet the Canucks. I was waiting, and I didn't do it last night, which kind of upsets me that I didn't bet it this morning or when it opened last night, because there were some bigger prices available. Like even this morning, we were looking at like plus 120s, which is frustrating to jump in now, and I generally don't like to do that, but I wanted to wait to see what was going on with Demko, and he's back on the ice. That happened when we were on the show, that he's now back and skating. So it seems like he's fine. I again, the report yesterday was that, like Friedman said, that the Canucks weren't concerned with what Demko, or not too concerned, I think he said, which to me was like, oh, okay, so maybe he's going to be out for a little bit longer. Yeah, so like, I didn't know if we could have expected him tonight, or if it was just another Lankinen game, which is why I held out, missed the best of the number. Very frustrating, but I mean, yeah, I still agree at this price. The Canucks have been playing better, and they showed a lot in the last 2 games where I feel like where I ranked them in my my post on Monday in the newsletter, I think maybe I should consider bumping them up at one point here, because they, with Demko and with these guys going, they can be a good team. Like, they have a higher ceiling. So we've seen that a little bit more lately, and I do want to fade this Winnipeg team. Now that we're getting Demko, let's bet it at 20 cents worse than where it was 6 hours ago.
All right, makes perfect sense here. Let's take the Canucks. I think that rounds out, no pun intended, our round robin parlay there. Underdog. You guys can tell me if I'm right here. You guys can veto these if you don't like them, because we have seen some moves, unfortunately, as the show's been live. But Habs minus 105, Flames plus 125, Blue Jackets minus 102, and Canucks plus 104. We good with that? Yep. Official confirmation from the boys. All right, perfect stuff there. And that's just been the Edgework Overtime. Hope you guys in the chat have enjoyed it. Reminder, smash the like button down below, and subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Any final thoughts from you two guys before we head out here? Any thoughts in terms of Demidov kind of slipping in the Calder race? Any thoughts in terms of Vancouver Canucks making the playoffs? Alex, I'll let you start, because I feel like Somani's just thinking a little bit more, and I want to give him some more time.
I didn't know that Demidov was slipping in the Calder race. That's news to me. I guess that the 1 point in the last 3 games for Schaefer has really pulled them apart from the pack. Is that what's happening here? So I don't know. No, I'm still very much on board the Demidov Calder train. Would be nice if Marty could start playing him a little more right now at 5-on-5, but spreading out the lines a ton, I get it. But yeah, I mean, Schaefer's incredible. He's an incredible player. And if I had to pick Schaefer or Demidov to be on my team long term for their duration of their careers, I am taking Schaefer, and that's not even a slight on Demidov. I just think Schaefer is that good. But we're looking at this year. We're not projecting future value right now when we're talking about the Calder, and talked about it enough. Like, Schaefer's going to fade a little bit. It's tough as a defenseman in this league, especially when you're 18 years old and haven't played that much hockey, to sustain this level. And I think we've already seen it drop a little bit. Hasn't scored now in 4 games. He's only got 1 point. Like, the points are going to tail off, and I don't think he's going to have the counting stats to be there when it matters at the end of the day. So I'm not still clicking it, because I've clicked it so many times now that I don't even know if it makes financial sense to keep clicking it. But yeah, Demidov Calder. Let's go.
Yep. All right, Demidov Calder. Rooting for you, Alex. So money. Any last words or thoughts here?
Yeah. You asked about the Canucks. I do like the Canucks to make the playoffs. You look at the Western Conference right now. You have Seattle as the 3rd place team in that division, and we know Seattle stinks, right? So like, there's a lot of room for movement here. The Canucks, I say this tongue in cheek, but like, they just need to get healthy, right? They've like played a lot of their season here now, a lot of the early part of the season with 6, 7, 8 guys out at any particular time, right? And like, hopefully that doesn't continue. Probability says it doesn't continue, so they should start getting healthy at some point, hopefully. And when they do, they're a team that can compete, right? They're not a team that, as like, in terms of long term, as a Canucks fan, it sucks that they're going to be in the 7th to 10th range in the conference, and that's for the foreseeable future here, which sucks as a Canucks fan. But for us, short term, betting this team, if we know that they have wild card, maybe 3rd place in the division potential, then I think that betting them to make the playoffs, it does make a lot of sense.
All right. Yeah. Canucks to make the playoffs. I think it's plus 185.
Are we sorry?
FanDuel,
Are we
go ahead.
missing with Demko here too? So money. Are we missing an under bet here? Like under 6, -110, -115 on that game? Like I know Vancouver's not been necessarily the best defensively, and they are scoring a little bit. Like their numbers are a little higher, but this is a good matchup for it, where Winnipeg cannot score, and they do have the ability to kind of just shut teams out just based on Hellebuck alone, not even team defense. Feels like one that it definitely closes 5.5 at least, or like a very, very juiced under 6.
Yeah, no, I can totally see that. I'm a little hesitant. Like my hesitancy came from Demko's been off a while, right? So like
Yeah.
Just in case if I am wrong on Demko, I don't want to lose both bets. And the bet that I would lose
Fair.
would be the one that's plus money.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate the conversation. We will see you both back here on Thursday, or is Albert finally? No, he will not clean his room. He just won't come on the show. All right. Listen, I'm not complaining. This is my preference. But yeah.
Albert whined for months to get Edgework back, and then the second Edgework came back in some capacity, he's like, "I'm so busy right now. I just don't know how much I can make it work." I'm like, "Okay, sounds good, buddy."
For sure, it's a lot of work to sweep that ice between the hours of 7 and 10 p.m.
Yeah.
For 42 days of the year. Anyways, appreciate you guys joining the show. We'll see you guys on Thursday.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Jason.
Awesome stuff there. All right, guys. You know the drill. Underdog moneyline parlay. I don't think I said this, but of course, as always, we preach this every single time. You guys should shop that around because we did see the numbers move on air. Someone out there is clicking FanDuel and moving those numbers. So whoever's doing that, kudos to you. But yeah, you're kind of ruining it for our viewers. But yeah, make sure you guys shop around there because there are definitely better prices available for that round robin parlay. What do we have on tap for the rest of the day? I don't think there's anything else on the network. Tomorrow, though, Forward Progress Best Bet Show. My apologies. 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Matt Russell will be there. G-Stack George will be there. And Flup will be there. Hopefully, you can bounce back from 0-3 week tomorrow as well. So, you're going to see us back here at noon Eastern Time. Circles off. There's gonna be a video. Do you have the top? Do you know the topics for the video? Give a little bit of a sizzle.
I'm doing a
for
video
it.
for Circles Off tomorrow. Actually, I'm gonna be talking about my journey from a losing bettor to a winning bettor.
Okay. Rob didn't want to give you the interview. He just wanted to make you do the video yourself. Eh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's all right. All right. Look forward to that. Hopefully, others can relate to that as well. But maybe not in this chat. Maybe somewhere outside the YouTube sphere who are looking for that video, they can figure it out. Anyways, yeah, you're going to want to tune into that. It's around 1 p.m. Eastern right after the show.
Yeah, 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow.
Goes live. Speaking of the show tomorrow, Mr. Peanut Butter, Pips, Kirk Evans, loaded NBA day, college football stuff. Maybe we'll get some Peanut Butter NBA props as well out of him, as well as some college football stuff. A lot of moving parts in week 11 of the college. Week 12. Wait. I don't know if it's week 11.
Week 12.
It's week 12. Yeah, it's week 12 of the college football season. Jesus, time flies. Week 12 of the college football season. A lot to talk about there. Going to be a lot of fun. Then, of course, the loaded NBA slate with Pips, with Kirk. Going to be a fun time. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Before we head out the door, do us one favor. Please, guys, smash the like button. If half of you were to smash the like button right now, we would have double the amount of likes. So, I mean, just do us a favor and smash the like button. It goes a long way here. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you said, hey, Jason, I've already liked the video. I've already subscribed to the channel. What else could I possibly do? Go tell a friend about us. I think we're doing a pretty entertainment show. This is the longest show we've ever done as well. If you guys like the longer shows, let us know in the chat down below. And that wraps it up for us here today. This has been the November 11th edition of the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends at FanDuel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you guys right here tomorrow.